Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. You know me, my name is Victor. It's a pleasure and an honor and a blessing to be here with you lovely people today. And today, as you can probably tell from the title, I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about tomorrow's new moon on November 15th, 2020. Okay, number 1, I wrote down or typed down in this case, life pushing you into that next level version of yourself. Sometimes we work hard and we get to a place in life and we get comfortable. We feel secure, we feel safe, and we think, oh, good, made it. Right around those times, life starts to change and throw curveballs at you, and situations start to break down and transform. New passions emerge within you. And before you know it, you find life sort of pushing you out of your little safety net, out of your safety zone, and back into the unknown. On one hand, you want to cling. You want to cling to the familiar. You want to cling to the safety. And the other part of you wants to go forth into this new direction, this new level version of yourself, because it excites you, it resonates, it intrigues you, and it just where your passions are directing you. And this can be a challenging, like you're feeling pulled in 2 different directions. But if this is happening to you, it is time for you to be that next level version of yourself and all the responsibility and all that comes with it. You wouldn't be feeling like you're going in that direction if you actually weren't ready. You see, we become actually capable in truth well before we think we are, well before we feel we are. This reminds me of a few retreats ago. I found myself feeling depressed. I work with a team of people, about 5 other people, and most of them are healers. I'm not really a healer. I'm like a coach and a speaker and a writer. I don't understand how to be a healer. And I found that I was sort of observing them doing their thing at my retreat, doing their, the different things they do. And I felt like very awestruck, like, wow, that's really impressive. That's pretty cool what they do. And I found myself feeling like, well, where do you fit in, Vic? Yeah, you got the people here, but what do you do? I started to feel kind of small. It's because I was resisting my actual role, which is to be the leader, to be the speaker. So the whole retreat, I felt depressed. I felt in my head, I was sabotaging myself. That's a very real thing. We can really just sabotage ourselves because we feel insecure about where life is trying to put us. Well, finally, on the very last night, I sat down and I gave this speech I always give, and it's like I came back to life. The real Victor shined through. It was one of my best talks ever, and I realized that this is who you are. You're meant to be a leader. You're meant to be the speaker. Sorry, my cat's meowing. I'm wondering what that was. Anyway, it was a real clicking into place. Like, this is where you belong, Vic. Even if you felt apprehensive, even if you felt insecure, even if you were sabotaging yourself, even if you didn't feel or think you're ready, you are ready. And that's why it's happening right now. So it's really time, my friends, to allow yourself to shift into this next level. Let go of whatever attachments you might have to the comfortable and familiar. It's trying to fade away for a reason, because you are indeed ready, in whatever way that resonates with you, okay? Number 2, I wrote down, this is a fun one, abundance. November is a time, my friends, of long-term projects starting to come together, click into place, and pay off. And this abundance, it can come in kind of waves, where everything just starts tying together. And sometimes these waves of abundance come right on the cusp of a time when things are breaking down and things feel stuck, and you feel like uncertain about aspects of your life, maybe your career or something. And all of a sudden, one little thing can happen. It sometimes is small as a thought pops in your head that transforms the energy of your being, the energy of your life, and everything, like a windfall, starts falling into place. And these times can be both exhilarating and stimulating and exciting and really cool. But what I've learned, my friends, is that life is always doing that. It's always in motion. There's always cycles of decay, usually parallel to cycles of influx, cycles of newness coming into our life. And sometimes there's an it seems like it's all breakdown. And other times it seems like it's all stuff coming in. But regardless, the constant is us and our presence and our consciousness. And what I've learned in my life, you can take it for what you will, is to detach a little bit from when things are going well, from when things are coming together, and not get too attached, because another season is bound to kind of wash in. And there's joy, there's blessings, there's hope, there's laughter, there's a lot of goodness in all parts of the cycle. And the abundance, it really is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. It's a state of gratitude, a state of wakefulness to what you have in your life. Like right now, we're all connecting with people all over the world on some kind of some kind of device. And that's amazing. That's phenomenal. We're all tapped into the same energy right now. Yeah, we might have chaos swirling around in our life, things breaking down, things coming in. But right now, in this moment, we are whole. We are abundant. We are free. And that's the one thing I've learned about abundance, is that it really, really is a state of mind. And whether there are things going bad, perceived to be bad for you, so that you may come into a new flow of abundance, or things are popping in for you, regardless, it almost doesn't matter, because there's joy to be had in each and every moment. Okay. Number 3, I think will apply to a lot of us. Relationship healing. This can be a tough one, because these energies coming into the planet are, in a sense, demanding more authenticity and more harmony with our interrelations with people, especially people who we're close to in our life, friends, family, lovers. And sometimes these intimate relationships can go through very rocky and tumultuous and uncertain times. And it can feel like, what's happening? Where is this relationship going? But oftentimes, more often than not, what's actually happening is those unspoken words, those pent-up emotions, those hidden resentments, all that is being kind of catalyzed to the surface in both parties. And it can lead to a lot of pent-up stuff getting expressed, all at once. And it's like, whoa, where is this coming from? You're just seeing like people, you're seeing these other sides of people. And again, during this relationship catharsis, it can really seem like, I don't know where this is going. But what's happening is all that stuff is coming up from the depths of your unconscious being, your mind, and being expressed and purged out and transmuted, so that when the dust settles, and it always does, you settle back into more harmony and a deeper connection with your person. This has been happening with me and my wife. There's just been things that have been on our mind for both of us that suddenly, the way life has unfolded, it's almost like provoked us into these circumstances where we can't bite our tongue anymore. We can't hold it in. And it's been a little bit fiery between us. But I've been through these cycles many times. I've been married almost 12 years. And we've gone through these phases. And I know every single time it results in just a deeper level of love. Because to really be in love with a lover or a friend, it requires a high degree of letting go and being vulnerable. And so many of us have been wounded throughout our lives and relationships that as much as we might want to, we physically can't, because of these impediments, these traumas in our consciousness. And these relationship healing cycles force them up to the surface. And as uncomfortable and wild as it can be, it leads to us actually being able to let go into this love more so than ever before. So if this relates with some of you, I recommend being patient with yourself and with the people in your life. There's a book, I'm gonna grab it real quick. I read this book every morning by a really beautiful, wise master, we'll call him. He's like an Eckhart Tolle. He's like Adashanti. He's like one of those dudes. Thich Nhat Hanh. Can't really see it. Anyway, I read this page yesterday, and it talked about looking at your relationships like a flower. I'm a gardener in a sense. I love to grow things. And when I see a plant suffering, I don't get mad at it and say, what's the matter with you? You should be growing better. I look at it, I don't judge it. Immediately I think, what can I do for this flower? Maybe it needs more sunlight. Maybe it has too much sunlight, these hot Vegas or Arizona summers. Maybe it needs more water. Maybe it needs more, some new soil, some food, some love. Whatever, some space, maybe it needs to be trimmed, etc. And that's like my thought process. How can I make this flower happier? And Thich Nhat Hanh says we should do that with our relationships. Even when someone in our life is like causing us stress and unrest and maybe lashing out on us or something, we don't have to be mad or resistant or judge them. We can say, wow, my flower is in need of some love. What do they need? And immediately, whether you do anything or not for that flower, that person, just that attitude of genuine, I want to just help you. I can see you're suffering and in pain. What can I do? That immediately, it almost like has this miraculous effect on the people in your life. And then their guards come down. And then you can really meet in a heart-to-heart way. So anyway, that little passage out of this little daily meditation book was very helpful to me. So I thought I'd share it. Number 4, I have here, healing your past lives. A lot of you can feel what's happening right now. There's like a convergence of a lot of timelines, a lot of like potential directions we can go in our life and maybe have gone before. And it's all kind of coming together. And it can be very chaotic, very confusing when you feel like almost like this sense of urgency to make the right choices in your life because you're going to be splintered off in some other trajectory. And what's happening during this convergence is we're calling forth these unresolved traumas, patterns, cycles, issues of literally other versions of ourselves that are existing now. People we can call a past life from one perspective, but on a higher perspective, they are happening in this moment. And we're getting to a certain unique high level of consciousness where we can literally tap into those. And the way that looks in our life is when we start to become aware of or feel or play out patterns, emotions, energies that are very strong, that feel very much an ingrained part of us, but we can't, for the life of us, come up with where they came from. Like, where is this coming from? Where is this stemming from? These phobias, these fears, these anxieties, these patterns, these cycles. What is going on? We look as best we can throughout our childhood and say, I don't know where this is coming from. It's because of what I said. And the key here is to trust, remain present, allow energies to come up, and know that there's a divine timing going on. There really is. So there's times you might feel like you're being sucked down a path that you know is not yours, but you don't know how to stop yourself from going down it. There's other times where you just feel like everything's up in the air, and you have the clarity to make the wise, heart-centered choice when you need it. And the times you don't need it, you feel all messed up. So regardless of how things might feel at times, it's just there's this massive cleansing going on. And the reason it's happening, it's so beautiful. It's that you chose to do this. You chose to come here at this time in history, knowing there's a potential not only to live a really exciting, unique incarnation here on Earth as it transitions into this fourth density reality, but you knew you'd be able to clean up a lot of your past that you've been dragging around as a soul through these other incarnations for a very, very, very long time. And it's because you're so powerful and you've taken this on, even though to our present mind, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would I have done this? This is so messed up. This is so uncomfortable. Why? Well, because you could, because you knew you can, and you are. So allow this catharsis to ensue, trust the divine process you've been connected to this entire time, and know that you're about to be really pushed through into a new level of presence. And the more you heal these past lives, the more of your real self you get to experience and enjoy in this life. And it's going to be well worth it, and it already is well worth it. Number 5, awakening to your authenticity in a very real, sometimes even surprising way. I know for me, when I started my spiritual awakening, I thought I was going to, in the near future, ascend into some sort of ball of energy and float among the ethers and connect with my star family and watch the planet just shift on a dime, the blink of an eye. And I thought it was going to be a lot of flair and excitement. What I'm realizing is that a spiritual awakening is more like an awakening to just the underlying tone of love and joy and peace that still exists in this sort of mundane 3D dualistic reality we find ourselves in. It's about awakening to the magic that already exists in our reality and within ourself. And as this awakening deepens for us, it will also bring to our awareness the areas of our life that are not really in accordance, not really in alignment with this new truth that we are uncovering. And this can lead to a feeling like I need to make a change in my career, relationships, living situation, my priorities, my values, the way I conduct myself, the way I just go through life. And you might start to really reevaluate some things and realize that sometimes our priorities are they're put there because of the wounds we've been carrying, and they're not exactly authentic. They're more like attempts to find love and validation in these tangents. And this awakening is getting deep enough to where you can start to catch yourself when you're doing that, and again make these shifts in your life, which will allow you to just experience more harmony. But this sometimes implies changes. So for me, the way it played out, if that didn't make any sense, I realized that a lot of my energy and a lot of my intention has been going to doing things to receive validation and seek out love and acceptance from the outside world. Because I didn't feel validated or loved or I wasn't accepting myself. I wasn't loving myself. So not that what I'm doing here is inauthentic, but a part of what drove me earlier in my sort of YouTube career, even though it was a very pure mission, unconsciously, I was seeking validation. I was addicted to the likes and the loves and the comments and all that kind of stuff. And I was doing it to find myself. And I was doing it in an unbalanced way, to where I was putting an unnecessary amount of energy into this. And I was not present for my family, for myself, for my friends. And anyway, I've been waking up to this over the past couple of years, which is why I've sort of, changed the frequency at which I come on here. And I'm realizing that my values are just being both, having balance, doing my mission, but also being truly present for my children and just really tapping into the joy and the love of just watching them geek out and wrestle and do their karate and play around. And I'm actually finally able to be there truly, fully, in those moments. But it has resulted in big changes in my career, in my intention. And I'm like, but anyway, you kind of get the point. I've made some significant changes based on this deepening of awakening into my own authenticity. Okay. So if you find yourself feeling guided to make changes in your life that will align you more fully with your truth, now's the time to do it. Life, the energy, the new moon, it will support you in your endeavor to really purify your life. And you're going to find when you do that, all the things you think you want are already there. The abundance, the health, the vitality, the love. A lot of us have all those things and we're just not awake to it. Okay. So anyways, my friend, I hope you enjoyed that video. I really enjoyed shooting it for you. What I don't normally do this. I'm going to spend about 5-10 minutes maybe answering some questions. So anybody, if you have any questions you want to ask me in general about any of this, please feel free. I'll start reading them now. Will I leave a recording of this? Yeah, it'll be automatically recorded. If you missed the first half or something, it'll pop up on my YouTube channel pretty soon here. Yes. Do I know much about singing bowls? I don't know a lot about them, but I have them and I love them because they will put me into the meditative state very quickly and effortlessly. And I know it works with brainwave entrainment. So when you play a singing bowl, it emits a certain frequency that's very harmonious, that's very in sync. And then our body and our mind, the literal brain waves we have, will entrain themselves to that frequency, helping us feel have more of a harmonious energy. So they're fantastic. Am I coming back to YouTube? Well, I come back. I'm back on YouTube. At least right now, I seem to be doing about 2 energy updates live per month. So yes. Who's my favorite UFC fighter? George St. Pierre. Let's see here. Why do I keep crying over nothing? My family doesn't know how to take me, from Albert. Well, sometimes we cry over nothing because we've prevented ourselves from crying for a long time. And I'm going to give an example. Be very, very, very open here. So about 9-10 days ago, I had a vasectomy, right? Most of you know what that is. No more children. I have 3. I'm very happy. And right when there's like, I was in the procedure and the doctor was like, last chance. And I was like, do it, you know? And once he like finished the job, we'll say, I felt a lot of emotions coming up. So it started to dawn on me, like, no more kids, man. That's a significant thing for a person, you know, because I love kids. Anyway, I felt like bawling right there on the spot, but the nurse was talking to me. The doctor was chatting, which was good. They were trying to, you know, keep me calm and distracted. But I realized that there's a lot of times in life that we have an emotional reaction that's very organic and very necessary that we suppress, because we don't feel it's a time or place to let those emotions out. So I did, though. Once they left, they said, okay, take your time getting dressed and stuff. I sat in there for about 5 or 10 minutes and just cried as much as I could. I wanted to get those tears and emotions out because I felt them come up. But most of the time, we've gone through life, a lot of us anyway, never doing that. We've just stuffed it all in, and it's there. These unexpressed emotions are there, and the energies right now are saying, you got to let those go because you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more in sync and more in harmony. So you might cry for no reason for that fact, because you're making up for a lost time. So let yourself cry. It's not uncool to cry. It's actually very healing. Let's see. Someone asked, I think, any thoughts about December? I get asked a lot. I don't know if I saw it, but I get asked a lot about what's going to happen on December 21st, 2020. So what I realized that there are these points in time that seem to result in a sort of a collective acceleration of these potent ascension energies coming in. But in the past, I would really live very passively and wait for these energies to fix me and change me and transform me. And I realized these energies coming in, even in their random spurts of more concentration, all they're doing is giving us an opportunity. They're shedding awareness, they're giving us awareness, and that's it. What we do from this newfound awareness is what matters. So there's already plenty of ascension energy on the planet to look at yourself honestly and make profound life changes in your life that will change your life, that will change how you feel about yourself, how you relate with life and your life situation. So I learned not to wait for a certain date to come in and just do the work for me. That's not the point. The point is to be empowered and wake up to our power. So honestly, I haven't put 1 second of thought into what's going to happen on December 21st. Not that there's nothing that's going to happen, but what's people are waiting for to happen, in my opinion, is already happening right now. With what is going on, you have the power and the wakefulness to make massive positive changes to your life in this moment. You don't have to wait for anything. And if some burst of, heavenly energy wants to come into the planet, I'll welcome it with open arms, but I'm not going to wait for it. Okay, let's see. Hey, Vic, is it normal to feel utterly exhausted after the 11:11 gateway? Yeah, I don't personally think it has much to do with the 11:11 gateway. It's more about when you go through periods of acceleration of your awakening, of your consciousness. It can be draining on the physical body. There's all the emotions that come up, the speed at which life seems to unfold, and just our level of tension because we're being kind of stretched to adjust to a new speed of perceiving and experiencing reality. We go through these spurts, and it's interesting because oftentimes during those times of exhaustion, there's a lot of things we got to do. It can feel like, what's going on? Well, this doesn't seem right, but it's always at a rate that you can handle. And in these growth periods, you realize a lot about yourself, about how strong you are as a person, and things will always settle back down. So don't worry about it. When you're tired, rest and trust that it's okay to rest. I say that with sympathy because I know when it happens, it's not so easy. I've been there, but what I said is true as well. All right, I'll take one more question, my friend. Let's see. Now that there's only one more question, it's like, oh, it's gotta be the right one. Maybe I'll do a couple, we'll see. I keep seeing the same ones, let's see. Good one. How do you get your spouse to awaken? It's frustrating because he's in 3D. I don't mean to laugh at that, but I get that question a lot and I understand. So it's kind of like raising children. I see a lot of things my kids could be doing better, mistakes they're about to make. But when I tell them, hey, you shouldn't do it this way, what do you think happens? They do it anyway, just to spite me because they don't like being told what to do. Either does anybody. So a lot of times we want what we think is best for our spouse or people in our life. And we think, well, I'm waking up, they should wake up too. But we don't know what their soul came to experience. There's a lot of different ways to roll with this time we're living in. And all of it results in growth and learning and acceleration of consciousness. And it's almost like we have no business thinking we know what's best for somebody because we actually don't. But anyway, it's totally normal to want to influence your partner. I'm not saying it's not. But the best way is to lead with example. It's one thing to say, hey, I read this book and it says this and we should be doing this. It's another thing to read that same book and integrate those lessons into your life and start living them truly in a grounded way. And then they will be way more likely to come around and say, wow, this person's, your behavior speaks way louder than the words you say. So I would say refrain from trying to convince them or preach them or teach them, educate them, even if it's best for them in a sense in your mind. It's best just to be an example of a person who really lives as best they can these spiritual principles of authenticity, honesty, humility, etc. All right, let's see. I think I saw this question multiple times. Moonlight Wisdom Tarot said, I just broke up with my partner of a really long time. Do you have any advice for healing? Yeah, and it's exactly what I said earlier. Allow yourself to feel emotions. I remember when my pet died, I had a 6-year-old dog, a pit bull, and he died in a sort of tragic way. And it was the first time I really felt like I grieved successfully because I cried a lot, like 2 or 3 days. Like literally I was going through a ridiculous amount of toilet paper and tissue. And I was just sobbing, like really, really like retching, sobbing for about 2 or 3 days. But after a few days, I felt a lot better. I could really sense that the emotions that I was allowing to express themselves was causing me to feel lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and more and more and more at peace with the situation. So it's not something you're gonna resolve, in my opinion, in your mind. It's more of a physical thing you need to allow to happen. Let the grieving process take its course. And that'll lighten your vibration and bring you to a greater place of acceptance where something in the future could maybe change with that relationship, or you attract somebody new who's more in alignment, and your life will even reflect this new vibration you allow to occur. But I know it's easier said than done, but the key is letting go and letting yourself feel and letting yourself express when the time comes. Okay, my friend, I think that's it. I'm getting kind of tired. I made my wife and kids go out in the garage there and work out. They're probably ready to come in. So thank you all so much for being here and showing up and staying on. It's beautiful to connect with you all. Hopefully my message served you and helped you in some way. And just thank you for your long-term, your loyalty and your support. You know, I've gone through a lot of changes with my YouTube presence. And even though there's always haters and stuff, for the most part, I feel blessed to have just amazing, loving people who genuinely want the best for me. And it really means a lot to me. And I can see it just in the way you comment and the things you say. So thank you so much, my friends. I wish you all nothing but the best. Have an amazing, powerful, enlightening new moon. And I'll catch you next time. Much love. Namaste.